Greetings. Welcome back to the Horror Metal channel. I am just obsessed with this listing crap here lately, so here's yet another list from me. Hope you guys enjoy this one. It's going to be the top 10 most underrated albums list. Yeah, ones I think are overlooked and deserve a little more credit than what they get. So, let's go and begin. These aren't really in any order except for maybe the number one spot, but, well, I was going to put them in a random order, so, you know. Number 10, The Wretched Spawn by Cannibal Corpse. Now, this album gets some praise. I put it pretty low on the list because it does get some praise. It's not, like, hated or anything. It's not, like, totally maligned or anything, but I do think it's definitely overlooked. I think it's definitely one that doesn't get as much credit as it deserves, even though it does get some. But I've already reviewed this album on my channel. It was actually the first album review I ever did, so let's not go too in-depth, since I already talked about it. So, but there's so many good songs here. Psychotic, Severed Head Stoning, Psychotic Precision, Decency Defied, Frantic Disbowelment, the title track, Festering the Crypt, Nothing Left to Mutilate, which is probably my favorite song in the album, Blunt Force Castration. Yeah, there's just so many good ones. So many gems on here. Oh yeah. Love me some Cannibal Corpse, and I think this is a fine entry to their discography. Alright, moving on. Next is another death metal album, Scars of the Crucifix by DSSI. Now, I noticed that a lot of metalheads only like their first two albums. Maybe Once Upon the Cross, too. But I couldn't disagree more. I think this is a great CD, for sure. You got the title track, Mad at God, Conjured by Sodom, When Heaven Burns, From Darkness Come, all great. I think Glenn Benton's vocals were top-notch here, for sure. I'm trying to think of... And they still have the Hoffman brothers, too, at this point, so can't be all bad, right? When they left, the band kind of declined. Well, not kind of, a lot. But yeah, Scars of the Crucifix, I think is very underrated. Next, we have Voodoo by King Diamond. Oh yeah. Now, I've heard people say this is their worst album. I couldn't disagree more. I think that Give Me Your Soul, Please is probably their worst, even though I still like it. I don't think they have a bad album. Honestly, I don't think they have a bad one. And, this is one of the better ones, I think. It's not as good as classics like Abigail, Them, or Conspiracy, but I think it's still really, really, really good. I love that album art, too. Look at that. That's just awesome. I want to live there in that house. Hell yeah. Beautiful. But yeah, King Diamond, Voodoo. Got some great tracks on Louisiana Darkness, Life After Death, Voodoo, the title track, Salem, One Down, Two to Go, Sending of Dead, The Exorcist, some great ones. Cross of Barren Semity, some great ones. Next we got Master of the Moon by Dio, and this is his most recent album. This is the last album that they ever did, unfortunately. And I think it's pretty good. Got some classic tracks here. One More for the Road, the title track, Into the World, Shivers, The Man Who Will Be King, Living the Lie, Death by Love. Definitely some good ones. So yeah, I don't understand why this album isn't talked about more, because I think it's damn good. Next we have The Gathering by Testament. Now, all the albums that don't have Alex Skolnick on guitar are kind of underrated, except maybe Demonic, which I think is kind of deserves the criticism it gets. But this one had James Murphy, who's also previously in Death and Obituary, on guitar. He's a great guitarist in his own right, of course. Alex Skolnick is one of my favorite guitarists ever, though, so it is kind of a bummer that he wasn't on this album. But I still think it's damn good. And Dave Lombardo was on drums too from Slayer, so how can you go wrong? Yeah, it's got some great tracks. DNR, Down for Life, Eyes of Wrath, True Believers, my favorite song on the album. 3 Days in Darkness, Legions of the Dead, Riding the Snake, Sun Shut Eyes. Some good ones there. Yeah, The Gathering by Testament. Very, very underrated. Come on, let's start talking about this album more. Because it deserves more praise. Next up, we got Force of Habit by Exodus. I will never understand all the crap I hear about this album. I love it. I love this album. I don't know why people talk so much crap about it. We got Thorn in My Side, Me, Myself, and I, Force of Habit, the title track, Fuel for the Fire, One Foot in the Grave. My favorite track, Good Day to Die, which is so different from anything else they've ever done. It's very southern, very bluesy. It's not a thrash metal track at all. And I like that. I like when bands branch out and do something different. I appreciate that. They got a cover of Pump It Up. Yeah. Just a great album. I don't care what anybody says. I love it. Force of Habit by Exodus. Give it a listen. You won't be disappointed. Or maybe you will. I don't know. Next we got Euthanasia by Megadeth. Yet another unfairly maligned album. I don't understand why. There are days when I'd rather listen to this than Rust in Peace. Only because I've listened to Rust in Peace ad nauseum. I've listened to it so much. And I haven't listened to this one quite as much. But there are days when I'd rather listen to this because it's freaking awesome. We got Reckoning Day, Train of Consequences, Addicted to Chaos, A Tout Le Monde. Come on! Elysian Fields, The Killing Road, the title track, Black Curtains. So many great tracks, and it's a great album. If you don't like that, if you don't refuse to listen to this album because of what you hear people saying about it, you're missing out. For sure. Let's move on. Next we have God Hates Us All by Slayer. Now I hear people say that this was their attempt at a new metal album. I'm sorry, I don't hear it. I don't hear it at all. New metal, really? Yeah, I don't get it. We got Disciple, God Send Death, New Faith, Bloodline, probably the best song on the album, Warzone, Here Comes the Pain, Payback. It's a great album, guys. Come on. I don't understand the hate it gets. Somebody explain it to me because I don't get it. God Hates Us All by Slayer. It's a classic. It's actually my 6th favorite album after their first 5. Their first 5 albums, and then God Hates Us All is my 6th favorite. That's how much I like it. Because I think their first 5 are perfect. Just classics in every way. But God Hates Us All comes very close. Next we got 9 from Merciful Fate. Sickeningly underrated. So many people say this is their worst album. Guess what? This is my 3rd favorite Merciful Fate album after Melissa and Don't Break the Oath. Yeah, you heard me right. We got Last Rites, Church of St. Anne, Sold My Soul, House on the Hill, Burn in Hell, The Grave, Insane, Kiss the Demon, Buried Alive, and the title track. You'll notice that I just named all the tracks in the album because I think it's a perfect album front to back. I think all the tracks are equally great. My favorite is Burn in Hell, though, by far. The Grave is really cool, too. But yeah. Go out and buy it. You won't be disappointed. I guarantee you that. I don't get the hate. I don't get it. I don't understand, because I think it's a terrific masterpiece. Yes, I went that far. I went so far as saying it's a masterpiece. I stand by that. And the number 1 most underrated album is Saint Anger by Metallica. Not. Fear of the Dark by Iron Maiden. Was there any doubt? I talked about this already in the live stream I did with Sean Urshan. I don't get it. I don't get it. This and No Prayer for the Dying are way better than most people say they are. I don't get it. I don't get the hate. We got Be Quicker, Be Dead, From Here to Eternity, Afraid to Shoot Strangers, Fear's the Key. Oh, such an awesome opening. I love that opening riff. It's very haunting, very ominous. The Fugitive, Chains of Misery, yes. The Apparition, one of the most underrated songs ever because they did something way different. It doesn't sound like any other Maiden song. It sounds totally unique and something brand new and exciting. Judas Be My Guide, another great track. And the title track, oh yes. Love it, love it, love it. Iron Maiden, Fear the Dark, my #1 most underrated album, for good reason. Oh yeah. And it was the last to feature Bruce Dickinson on vocals before he came back. Oh yeah. Fear the Dark. Check this album out if you haven't already. Do yourself a favor. You won't regret it. Alright guys, well that's my list. Feel free to leave your most underrated metal albums in the comments below, or better yet, make your own video about it. I think it'd be exciting. I think it'd be a cool idea. Cool to see other people's choices. So, yeah, I'm Hellhound. Thank you for watching the Horror Metal channel. Until next time.